So I originally had other plans today, but as you know, plans fail sometimes. So I think today I'm just gonna talk about music again. So today I just want to talk about my experience as a musician, which to be honest with you, I don't even like to call myself that. Even though I've been playing for 15 plus years, I still feel like an intermediate amateur player. So yeah, I've never played in a band. I never played in school band, and I really haven't played with people all that much, just very small amount. I don't really know many people that play instruments, and even if I did, then it becomes the problem of time. Everybody just seems busy. So yeah, I wish I could play with people. I'm not trained. I didn't really have too many lessons. I had 2 years of piano lessons when I was 8 and 9, but by the time I picked up guitar at 16, that was all gone. But when I did pick up the guitar, it came with the DVD, and that DVD taught me some chords, but it basically got too tough too fast for me, and I kind of gave up on that. So because of that, I resorted to tabs of songs that I really liked, and sometimes I would learn riffs or like snippets of a song, but I was never able to learn a full song. And with some tabs, I actually kind of had a problem with it because I'd try them out and I'd go, "This doesn't sound like the song at all." So, yeah. And I really just couldn't afford teachers in high school either, so I really struggled to learn guitar in high school. But when I was a junior, a game called Guitar Hero came out, and this was pretty good for me, I think, because it taught me rhythm and timing, and that was followed up by Rock Band. And yeah, it just, like I said, it just helped me somehow, some way. It wasn't a total waste. But it wasn't until a couple years later when I was 21 that I kind of told myself, like, hey, you have to do this. Your soul demands it. But luckily enough, it was now 2010. YouTube had kind of grown in age a little bit. There was a couple people that were teaching how to play guitar on YouTube. And the one that I followed in particular was Justin Guitar. I learned basic chords from him and basic beginner songs. But again, this is where I kind of had a problem, playing those beginner songs. It's like, this feels like a dumbed down version of it, which it was, so that you could actually learn to play guitar and feel like you're doing something. And if you were to play those songs in public, people would probably get what you're playing. But it wasn't like you could just plug in a guitar and go play with a band and it'd be exactly like the original recording. And so that's kind of one problem I've always had with learning how to play songs. But eventually I did learn a whole song, and my first whole song was Wonderwall, which I know that's just a running joke, but I personally didn't know that at the time, and I just wanted to play it because I love Lost. And I loved when Charlie played it in Lost, and Charlie was one of my favorite characters, especially when he buddied up with Desmond. Because I was struggling to learn songs and because I didn't trust the sources that were teaching them necessarily, I came to conclude that I didn't want to be a cover band. I wasn't interested in that. What I really wanted to do was create my own music, and I did. I took my amp, plugged in my guitar, and I recorded it with the recorder. As you can see, I lost my timing there. I didn't use a metronome for the first couple years of playing, and yeah, but I was doing this and I was making an effort. Now, years later in 2014, a game called Rocksmith came out, and that was great because that was basically Guitar Hero with a real guitar. So, just perfect. Now, a lot of the songs were just way too hard for me to play, but I could 100% a couple of them. Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones and Losing My Religion by REM. And so, yeah, that gave me kind of a confidence at least. And I really like this game called String Skip Saloon, which was basically this string separation game where cowboys ran at you at a bar and you had to like pick the string that they were running down. So that really helped me out a lot. At this point, even though I felt like I was legitimately learning songs through Rocksmith, like to me, I thought that those were way more credible than YouTubers and tabs. I still wasn't loving playing other people's music. I didn't like to sing, or what I should say is, I couldn't sing and play at the same time. I was struggling just to play. There was no way I was going to sing too. So really when I played those songs without the game, it just felt redundant. Just chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, and that just made me bored. So I kind of just kept going along with making my own music. And in 2015, I had another turning point because I got a MacBook Pro and that had GarageBand. So at this point, I was mostly just playing lead and rhythm, and that's it. But when I got GarageBand, I was able to add drum tracks. And shortly after that, I also got a microKORG synthesizer, which also served as a MIDI. So I could use it to make synth tracks, but then I could also use it to use the instruments in GarageBand and play those too. So yeah, that was a real big turning point for me. 2022 was my next major turning point because this is when I bought a bass guitar. So to me, at that point, my songs started to feel like songs. And I also was having this problem with guitar where I just was like, man, there's just a certain sound I feel like I can't get out of this so that others can. When I got the bass, that's when I realized, like, oh, this was the missing piece. So yeah, I made songs for a couple years with that bass guitar, and I kind of intended on just building up an archive of stuff so that I could use it on short films or videos like these, but something tragic happened. My hard drive fell over and I lost everything. I should say I lost everything from the year of 2020 to 2024 because everything prior to that from, high school, college, and all of the 2010s, I did have backed up. I just hadn't backed up 2020 to 24 on that drive. So, yeah, I lost everything from those years. I had two screenplays that were halfway finished. I had tons of photos that I took of all my travels and my music. And so, yeah, that was a real punch to the gut. And I've kind of just not been pursuing creativity so much. I've just been taking a break. I'm going to get back to it, but that really kind of was just like, oh, okay. But I do think I will rise like a phoenix and get back to it. Kind of crazy, but I've been playing guitar for 15 plus years and I don't know any songs. Like, I know a couple. I know Damn It by Blink 182 because of Rocksmith. And I know Grow Old With You by Adam Sandler. But my main problem with learning songs is that even the other ones that I learned, Losing My Religion and Blitzkrieg Bop and multiple other stuff, I just forget. I learn it and I can learn songs now, but I'll play it for a couple weeks and then I don't remember how to play it anymore. So yeah, I need to get better at that, or I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I always make music. And I was just wondering if anybody else was like me, like, can you not play songs, but you can make your own music? Is kind of strange.